The slap echoed across the parade deck, and in that instant, a career was already over. No one knew it yet, but four men with gold eagles on their collars were about to hear her name. The sun was high and merciless over the Marine training depot, heat shimmering off the concrete as recruits stood locked in formation. Drill instructor Marcus Hale paced like a coiled wire, boots striking the ground with theatrical menace. When his eyes landed on recruit Lena Morales, something in him snapped. He barked an order she hadn't missed, accused her of smirking when she wasn't, and before anyone could breathe, his hand lashed out. The sound cut the air. Silence swallowed the yard. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. Lena didn't fall. She didn't cry out. She absorbed the shock like a stone dropped into deep water. Her face still, eyes forward. Inside, though, her pulse roared. She tasted copper and dust. She thought of her mother's voice, "Hold your ground," and the promise she'd made to herself to earn this uniform, without shortcuts. Around her, recruits stared straight ahead, terrified by the unspoken rule. Don't react. Hale leaned close, breath hot with authority. He expected fear. He got restraint. That unsettled him. He snarled another insult and stormed away, convinced the moment would dissolve into the routine cruelty of training. He thought he'd never see her again. He was wrong. By noon, the base hummed with small movements. Whispers traveled faster than orders. A canteen rattled in a recruit's grip. Dust drifted as a breeze carried the smell of oil and sun-warmed metal. Lena filed a report, hands steady, voice calm. Moral tension pressed in from all sides. Reporting could end her path. Staying silent would end something else. She chose truth. What Hale didn't know was that Lena's last name carried a quiet history. Her late father had served joint operations years earlier, the kind that never made headlines. His old team had scattered into command roles. 4 of them wore the gold eagle of a SEAL colonel now. They didn't trade favors. They traded accountability. The inquiry moved fast, and in daylight. Officers arrived without spectacle, their presence altering the air like a pressure change before a storm. Recruits gathered at the edges of the yard, pretending not to watch. Neighbors from nearby buildings paused, sensing the shift. Clipboards appeared. Statements were taken. Hale laughed once, then stopped when no one laughed back. Inside a sunlit office, Lena told her story again. The colonels listened without interruption. They noticed the small things, the way her jaw tightened when she recalled the sound, the way she refused to dramatize. Outside, boots began to line the concrete in quiet formation, coordinated, deliberate. A wave, not a spectacle. The climax wasn't loud, it was precise. Findings were read, policies cited, consequences delivered. Hale's authority dissolved sentence by sentence, his bravado shrinking under the weight of evidence and witnesses. The colonels didn't glare. They didn't threaten. They ensured he would never train another recruit again. Justice, administered in daylight, with no room for shadows. When the decision became public, a murmur rippled through the base. Some recruits exhaled for the first time in weeks. A few nodded to Lena as she passed. She felt lighter and heavier all at once. Relief mingled with responsibility. Courage, she realized, doesn't end when the danger does. It echoes. Training continued. The sun still burned, but something had changed. Orders sounded cleaner. Respect felt real. Lena graduated months later, standing taller than she'd imagined possible. She carried no revenge, only a quiet certainty that truth had teeth. Because accountability isn't cruelty, it's the highest form of respect. And in the same bright yard, where a slap once echoed, a promise now lingered. Daylight has a way of finding everything. If this story moved you, share your thoughts below. Tell me where you're watching from. And consider subscribing for more true-to-the-heart stories, where courage meets justice.